Okay, so one thing I want to say about this list probably came together easier than it should have. Because the truth is, I consider myself an accidental entrepreneur. This was never something that I wanted to do. You know, those amazing stories of successful entrepreneurs who started a business when they were 12 years old, or they set up a lemonade stand in their yard to make some extra money. Well, that was definitely not me. The entrepreneurial blood didn't run through my veins when I was younger. This whole thing kind of fell into my lap and I just ran with it. In fact, when I started working online, my goal was to be someone else's number two. I wanted to be the support person for the entrepreneur. I wanted to be their tech unicorn, working behind the scenes, making sure everything went off without a hitch. But obviously that didn't happen. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a good tech strategy session with my team, but the Geekpack vision is so much bigger than me, and right now, my business needs me to be founder forward. So here I am. However, I will not pretend that I love everything about it or that it all worked out smoothly. There are ups and downs to entrepreneurship, for sure. And yes, this video is primarily about the downs, but it's also about why it's still worth it and why I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I would love if you let me know in the comments which one of these you relate to the most. So let's get started with some straight up truth. Being an entrepreneur is lonely and it's really, really hard. This is not just a job anymore. There's a lot at stake, especially when your business is scaling. Now, I'll talk a bit more about this at the end of the video regarding risk, because at the end of the day, Geekpack is my business. Yes, of course, I have an amazing team and lots of incredible support and guidance from mentors, but so much of it still comes down to me as the founder, and it's definitely something that's constantly on my mind. The only time I really ever shut off is when I don't have internet, but even then I'm still thinking about the business. It definitely takes a lot of grit, and honestly it would probably be much easier if I had a 9-to-5 job working for someone else. So why do I still do it? Well, it all comes down to my business's vision, the why behind every single thing I do. I want to create equity in tech, and this dream is worth pushing through the hard times, and parts of it do get better with time, especially when you surround yourself with peers and team members who believe in what you're doing and who support and encourage you along the way. Now, this is probably one of the big ones. I am constantly out of my comfort zone. As an introvert, putting myself out there is hard, and a lot of the things that I do are way outside my comfort zone. For example, it's taken me years to get comfortable behind a camera. And ironically, here I am on camera talking about not enjoying being on camera. While I still don't love it, it is a means to an end. It is a way to get us to where we want to be as a business, to increase our reach and allow the business to grow. Also, networking and building relationships is an absolute must, especially as you are growing and scaling. And while I don't love it because it's not in my comfort zone, I do it for the good of our vision. So let me tell you about my vision filter. Everything I do, I run it through my vision filter. So whether it's networking in person at a local event or being on camera, is it going to get us closer to our vision? If it will, I will do it. Okay, the next thing I hate is the embarrassment when things don't work. This can be a real knock to your confidence, especially when you're so confident and you work so hard on something. I recently shared a story about getting grants for my business, and this is a perfect example of working hard on something and it not going as planned. But on the plus side, failures always make the amazing people around you stand out. The ones that pick you up when you're down and when things aren't going well. Don't get me wrong, failing sucks, and I don't think it will ever not suck. But it's also unavoidable, and the amount of support and encouragement you get when you surround yourself with the right people is extremely uplifting. Have you ever heard me talk about community? Well, this is when they shine the brightest. Next, I had to learn how to say no. Now, as a people pleaser, I love to say yes. It's been really hard over the years to realize that as an entrepreneur, I can't say yes to everything. And my way of dealing with this is by putting everything through my vision filter. Anytime I'm asked to do something, I ask myself, is it getting us closer to our vision? Is it still in line with our mission? Because I know what we're building and I know where we're going. So it becomes easier to say no to things when I feel like it's not something that will help us get there. Next, I don't like criticism. I don't receive it well, and I really didn't when I first got started with my business. When you put yourself out there, especially on social media, you will get criticism. So yeah, you do need a bit of thick skin to get past all of it. But one thing I refuse to do is change who I am. Even though this was definitely a period of growth for me personally, and I do have thicker skin than when I first got started, I will not let being an entrepreneur take away what I think are some of my superpowers, which is being sensitive and compassionate and empathetic, always leading with curiosity. So I had to come up with my own way of being a successful entrepreneur, one that fits with my personality. But on the flip side, I think dealing with criticism over the years brought to the surface something that I believe we can all be better at, which is expressing and accepting gratitude and praise. Learning how to turn down the volume from the ones that love to throw unhelpful criticism and turn up the volume from the supportive ones was such a great lesson to learn. Now, something that drives me absolutely bonkers, nothing stays the same, at least not for long. Something that worked 3 or 4 or 5 years ago may no longer work now, but then it may start working again in a few years. And it's like this endless cycle of trying new things, retrying old ones, and waiting to see what sticks. There's always going to be trends. And that's the case with marketing, just like it is with fashion, for example. Now, I'm not the most stylish person or big into fashion. I'm still wearing clothes that I had 15 years ago. But it's super interesting when I look at fashion trends now. Like, for example, the kind of washed out high-waisted jeans. It makes me giggle a little because it brings me back to the 80s from when I was growing up. And now, of course, I'm showing my age. But as you get older, you start to see all of the same trends kind of coming back around. And it's kind of similar with trends in marketing and in the industry that we're in. The things that worked in 2020, 2021, right around COVID, they don't really work now. And that's okay. It just means that we have to stay agile and adaptable, and while that's extremely annoying, it's a good way to keep our creative brains working. Okay, there is a lot of risk being an entrepreneur. Have you ever heard the quote, "Heavy is the head that wears the crown"? This saying definitely resonates a lot with business owners, especially when you have a team. So when it was just me, there wasn't that much risk. But now I am supporting 6 people, 7 if I count myself. And those are full-time jobs. It is their livelihood. Again, there is a lot at stake. I remember a conversation I had recently with my business mentor, and these were her exact words about a difficult topic we were discussing. She says, "You know what? That's not something that your team is responsible. That's all on you." And yeah, it was. And it's not something easy to come to terms with, but it's true. Now, of course, my team is amazing, and they support me, and they believe in our mission as much as I do. And I know that they will do everything in their power to help. But at the end of the day, the weight, the pressure, and the risk, it falls on me. But on the bright side, it's also incredible. The fact that I can provide full-time jobs for my team members is extremely worthwhile. That they have this flexible job that they can work towards something that they really believe in and make a living out of it, that feeling is 100% worthwhile. Because at the end of the day, if not now, when? If not us, who? It's not just me as the entrepreneur anymore. It's us as a team. And if we don't do it now, then when do we? And if it's not us, then who will it be? And the fact is, Geekpack's vision is big. Together, we will change the face of tech by bringing 1 million voices into the conversation by 2030. 1 million! But I have no doubt that we have all the right people on the bus to take us there. So yes, there are plenty of things I don't enjoy about being an entrepreneur, but none of them is bigger than the Geekpack vision. So if you relate to any of this, let me know in the comments. And check out this video next to find out how to get through tough times.